Okay, warning ahead of time. Max is recording this and he's being a smartass, so hopefully it turns out okay. Anyway, okay, first thing we're going to talk about today is actually foot stretcher position on the erg. So this is the foot stretcher. You can't get the foot stretcher from there, Max. You actually have to come around. This is our foot stretcher. So the mistake a lot of people make is that I see them with the foot stretcher too high. There's a false sense of security of feeling really locked in, and being really locked in can often be about no abdominal or no core strength. So you'll see people doing stuff like this. I'm just gonna do it with one foot, right? And then you feel really locked in, but then you also don't have to engage your core, right? So what you want is to have this strap at approximately the place where your foot bends before the toes. I can have mine on position 2 dots or position 3 dots. I was position 3 dots for years, and then actually my coach modified it to 2 dots last year, and it's fine. I didn't feel like it made that much difference. So just get a shot of where it is, and as my feet move, see where that strap is. You can get a lot of pain in your Achilles or in your heels if you have this in the wrong spot. So that's the first thing. Okay.
Do one more.
One more? Okay. All right, so the main feature today technically is body over position, because when I looked at the videos you guys sent, everything really that I put as the pointers, and I think 2 things a day is really enough to try and digest, almost all of it goes back to that body over position. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you are at the finish, how to think about your body over your body position. This is my finish position here. My abs, super important that my abs, especially my lower abs between my hips, are engaged. And let me show you the difference here, okay? This is not engaged. Do you see how the hips and the lower back drop back? This is engaged. You see the difference? Here versus here. Here versus here, okay? So you get that angle in, you get this engaged. You can almost think of it like that pelvic tilt you sometimes do in Pilates, of pulling that in. And then my shoulders are laid back behind my hips, but I'm not here, I'm not here, I'm just behind. Now, arms away, body over. I am going as far, basically, as my hamstrings will allow me to reach. If I want to reach further than this, the only way to do it is by rounding my upper back. Now I can do it, but my hips haven't moved. I'm going to show you this again. Here's my reach. To get any more reach, that back is rounding. So that's kind of how you know where you can go. Your hamstrings are going to limit you. If you have hamstring flexibility issues, your body over position may be here. And I would rather see the work happen to accomplish the reach from getting more hamstring flexibility than to get that extra reach for now. Because again, it's making your back vulnerable, and it's also building into muscle memory, bad form. All right, so I made notes for myself today. And then now we're going to go up to the catch. So I'm here, arms away, body over. I'm compressing to the catch, and here I am. Now, my handle height the entire time is going to remain even. Arms away, body over. Do you see that if I wait to drive, I'm way past my knees before they come up? So if you're hitting your knees, or you're even close to hitting your knees, it's because you haven't, some combination of you haven't gotten your arms extended before body over, or you haven't gotten your body over before you start your recovery. The recovery is going up the slide, okay? So here, here. I mean, my hands, I have long arms, but they're halfway down my shins before I start this drive. I mean, this recovery. All right, now I'm at the catch. Nothing from my hips up has moved at all. This is static. And the way, the handle height is the same, the hips don't move, they don't swing, the shoulders are not moving either, they're in front of my hips until those legs are down, okay? The way that you accomplish this, there's some fine tuning into accomplishing that. You really, right before you initiate that drive, you've got to engage those abs and hips, those lower abs and hips, and think about your lats back here, of engaging them to hold those shoulders back. Because when you begin that drive, you actually have to create a platform to drive against so that your chain isn't wiggling all over the place and your whole upper body doesn't get lost in it. There are people who have more leg drive than they have the ability to stabilize their upper body. And when that happens, you actually have to take some leg drive out and only go to the point where you have the upper body's strength to maintain the stability in the drive. So it's here. I'll just take a couple strokes and see what I'm talking about. I'm going to build some power into it. Right up here, stabilizing the hips as soon as I initiate that drive. Does that make sense? Okay.
Submitted.
Great enough. Okay, so I think I covered all that. Abs and hips. It's hard to have the abs going into this to actually create that stability. When you get lower back pain, it's often a consequence of actually a disengaged abs and hips. So I'm sure you guys know tons of core exercises. Some of my favorites that you can actually use the erg for, they do a really good job of targeting those abs to build the strength you need to maintain stability over distance. They're called erg abs, and you may have done them. All right, from here, your butt stays down.
Oh, it's really hard.
Okay, and then you can pike. And the slower you go in both directions, the harder it is for each one. And then you can get super fancy and do it on one leg. But that'll tighten that up really fast. And actually, since we're here, I'll show you one more for glutes. We'll talk about glutes because glutes are a big deal on this, even though it doesn't seem like they are glutes and hamstring strength, because sometimes they don't want to join the party and you've got to kind of let them know it's time to show up. So your butt is up against the back, your heels are here, your toes are flexed backwards. You're going to go here. And if you want to get fancy, God, I haven't done those for a while.